All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something incredible. It's a tale that starts with a sinking luxury yacht, moves to a desperate lifeboat, and well, it ends with a truly mysterious discovery on a far-off island.
It's quite the journey.
It really is. We've pulled together an amazing stack of sources for this deep dive. Everything from these really intimate personal accounts in a survivor's hidden notebook to official news reports and even police files.
A real mix.
Yeah. Our mission is to navigate this complex story with you, distilling those profound insights on human nature, faith, survival, and uncovering some surprising truths hidden within. It's a journey into the unexpected.
It truly is. So we begin our deep dive on the Galaxy, right? A $200 million luxury yacht. And this wasn't just any pleasure cruise. It was the brainchild of billionaire Jason Lambert, hosting what he called the Grand Idea Voyage.
The grand idea sounds ambitious.
It was. It was meant to bring together big idea people, tech leaders, business moguls, political figures, entertainment stars. There was actually a reporter on board, Valerie Cortez, who described it as a fun version of the World Economic Forum.
Huh. So picture this incredibly lavish setting.
Yeah.
Multiple decks, pools, a ballroom with rock bands even.
Exactly. Pure luxury. And then suddenly, just inexplicably, it all falls apart. The yacht sinks.
And our window into that unfolding nightmare is incredibly personal, isn't it? We're talking about this water-damaged but remarkably preserved notebook discovered months later, written by Benji, a deckhand on the Galaxy.
Yeah.
This isn't just a record, it's like an intimate, desperate account. What do you think is so powerful about getting a story like this from a personal journal, especially one written under such, duress?
Oh, it offers just this unfiltered, raw perspective you simply can't get from official reports.
Yeah.
Imagine someone writing a farewell to a loved one, not even sure if it would ever be read, expressing deep guilt over the yacht's explosion, even when he wasn't sure what actually happened. That level of vulnerability, it immediately connects you to the sheer human struggle of it all.
Absolutely. And Benji's notebook, it introduces us to the initial survivors, 10 people crammed into a single lifeboat.
10 people, right.
You had Jason Lambert, the yacht's owner, kind of trying to project authority still. Nevin Campbell, a British media mogul with this nasty gash on his leg. Jerry Reed, an Olympic swimmer, who pretty quickly became the steadying force, it sounds like.
Yeah, she seemed very practical.
Then Mrs. Ligari, an Indian cosmetics magnate whose mantra was survive until tomorrow. Jean-Philippe, the Haitian cook, and his wife Bernadette, who was badly injured.
A terrible situation for them.
Yeah. And Nina, the yacht's hairstylist, Yannis Papadopoulos, a young Greek ambassador, and little Alice, just the silent child clinging to a deck chair piece.
Wow. What a mix of personalities, all suddenly thrown into the most dire circumstances imaginable. Exactly. And that mix, well, it only became more complicated. Right. Because 3 days after the Galaxy sank, as hope was dwindling, they pulled an 11th person from the water.
An 11th person after 3 days.
Yeah. A young man, completely unmarked, smooth almond skin, pale blue eyes, no life jacket, wasn't holding on to anything, just there.
How is that even possible?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? And after being pulled aboard, he barely speaks, and then finally whispers, "I am the Lord."
Whoa, okay, hold on. I am the Lord. How did a group of desperate, exhausted people react to that? I mean, and under normal circumstances, that's a wild claim on a sinking lifeboat.
Well, the reactions were immediate and diverse, really highlighting the varying ways people cope with the inexplicable under duress. Lambert scoffed, naturally. Yannis, ever the diplomat, asked if he had a first name.
Diplomatic indeed.
Mrs. Ligari, pragmatic, focused on survival. She questioned the impossibility of his appearance. Jerry, the swimmer, all about action, just said, "You let us know when that happens."
Kind of brushing it off.
Yeah. And Benji himself, despite his own struggles with faith, wrote that he didn't believe it. But this figure, he instantly created this dynamic shift in the lifeboat, forcing everyone to confront their own beliefs about miracles, about desperation.
What a way to introduce a character. Okay, let's pivot now. From the terrifying open sea to a small, ash-covered Caribbean island, Montserrat, months later.
Right. A complete change of scene.
And this is where we meet Inspector Jardy LaFleur. He's a chief inspector, but he's grappling with this profound, really paralyzing grief.
Yeah, it's a heavy backstory. 4 years prior, his 4-year-old daughter, Lily, tragically drowned in a beach accident. And this just shattered his world, led him to disavow God, view the world as dark and irrational, as he put it.
Gosh.
He'd even shut the door to Lily's room, just couldn't face it. It's a powerful symbol of his inability to cope. You can see how this personal tragedy just colors everything he does.
Absolutely. And it's into this emotionally charged world that a thin, bearded man named Rom appears. And Rom reports finding an abandoned life raft on a remote beach. Lafleur immediately recognized it as being from the galaxy, this vessel presumed lost with everyone on board.
So protocol dictated he notify international authorities immediately. It's a big deal.
Right. But something deeper was pulling him, wasn't it?
Absolutely. He was facing this profound internal conflict, this raft, this wreckage. It signified survival. And Lafleur, consumed by his own misery, felt this magnetic pull, a sense of witnessing survival that resonated deeply with his own loss.
So he kept it secret.
He did. He ended up secretly keeping the water-damaged notebook found inside the raft.
That's a huge risk for an inspector. He's breaking rules, potentially his career on the line, to hold on to this notebook. What was it about this story that so compelled him?
The tension here truly builds because he describes himself as being almost narcotized by the story, desperate to know how it ended.
Like he needed the ending.
Exactly. It's as if he was seeking a spark of hope for himself, maybe a confirmation that survival was possible, even after unimaginable loss. He carefully ran the fragile notebook underwater to separate the pages, revealing this message on the inside flap. To whoever finds this, there is no one left. Forgive me my sins. I love you, Annabelle DeChapel.
Oh, wow. Cut off.
Yeah. The questions just multiplied, and Lafleur, haunted by his past, couldn't stop himself from falling deeper into the mystery, perhaps seeing his own grief reflected in Benji's words.
Oh. Okay, so back to the sea. Life on the raft. It was just a brutal daily struggle, right?
Oh, absolutely. Scorching sun, constant seasickness, dwindling supplies, relentless, and shark-circled constantly.
It's almost impossible to imagine their state of mind at that point.
It truly is.
Yeah.
Small comforts like a shared handheld fan or some aloe vera for their blistering skin, they became incredibly precious. Benji documented their slow descent into exhaustion and despair. Bodies growing frail, thoughts just consumed by hunger and thirst.
It speaks to the human capacity to adapt, doesn't it? Even in such extremes. But also that fragile line between adapting and just breaking.
Exactly that breaking point.
And amidst this despair, this lurid figure, his enigmatic actions created this constant undercurrent of debate and confusion. Tell us about some of those moments.
Well, there was one occasion he touched John Philippe's badly injured wife, Bernadette.
Hmm.
Her eyes open, she actually spoke to her husband, offered some comfort, only to pass away peacefully later.
Huh.
And the stranger told John Philippe she is not healed, but she is going to be good.
So not a straightforward miracle. More ambiguous, comforting maybe, but not healing.
Precisely. It offered comfort, but not the miracle of full recovery they might have desperately hoped for. A truly ambiguous moment.
And then there's the rain incident. They must have been desperate for water.
Extremely desperate. And yes, in a moment of, extreme thirst, the stranger seemingly brought this timely downpour, but then he stopped it, abruptly, before they could collect enough water.
Stopped it, right?
He stated, "Wasn't one raindrop enough to prove who I am?"
Wow. That's harsh.
It immediately sparked renewed arguments among the survivors about his identity, his intentions. Was it a test? A demonstration? It just deepened the mystery rather than resolving anything.
That's a tough lesson to learn when you're literally dying of thirst. And what about when he drank some of their precious water? That must have caused issues.
Oh, definitely. That moment, as Benji documented it, was a pivotal point of skepticism for many, and especially for Benji himself. He questioned, would God really drink water before a thirsty child? It directly challenged their preconceived notions of what a divine being would do.
Yeah, you'd think not.
But the stranger also offered these profound statements on faith and worry. Things like, worry is something you create to fill a void of faith, and that the distance between death and life is not as great as you imagine. It seems he was more concerned with their spiritual state, perhaps, than their immediate physical comfort.
That's a really challenging perspective to offer a group in that situation, isn't it? And as the days wore on, the losses mounted, each one more poignant than the last. Let's talk about that accelerating sequence of deaths on the raft. It's grim.
It is grim. After Bernadette's peaceful passing, Mrs. Ligari, the one who lived by survive until tomorrow, she suffered a terrifying death, a shark attack, while she was reaching for binoculars.
Oh, horrible. Sudden and brutal.
Yeah, a sudden, brutal end to a life defined by resilience. And then, the media mogul, Nevin Campbell, with his injured leg.
Right, the infection.
Nevin slowly succumbed to that infected leg wound. His final message, recorded for his children, was just heart-wrenching. "I'm sorry I missed their wedding."
Oh gosh, a painful reminder of the lives and connections lost, the regrets.
Exactly. Those regrets that surface right at the end.
And Jean-Philippe, the cook, his story is particularly touching, you mentioned.
It is. He performed this incredible act of self-sacrifice. He managed to catch a dorado, a big fish, but then he left a note about giving before he disappeared, presumably slipped into the sea during the night.
He gave them the fish and then left.
Seems so. It speaks to that incredible human capacity for selfless acts, even when facing your own end.
That's profound. And then Nina and Giannis.
Anna, the hairstylist, and Giannis, the ambassador.
Yeah.
They had found this sort of burgeoning connection, maybe providing some small comfort to each other, but they were tragically swept away in a storm.
So those little glimmers of hope, connection, just extinguished.
In an instant, the raft, once crowded with hope and desperation, was rapidly emptying.
And then came the turning point with Jason Lambert, the billionaire owner. What happened there?
Lambert's descent into madness was horrifying. He started drinking seawater, which, as you know, is disastrous.
It leads to severe dehydration, delirium.
Mental collapse. And in this deranged state, he attacked the Lord figure with a knife, slashed his neck, and threw him overboard.
Threw him overboard. Good grief.
And then, just this horrific act, he grabbed little Alice and tried to throw her into the sea as well.
No. And this is where Benji, despite his intense hatred for Lambert, he steps up.
Yes. It's an astonishing moment. This triggered Benji's instinctive, courageous act. Despite his intense hatred for the man he believed was his absentee father.
He thought Lambert was his father.
He did. That was his belief. But even so, Benji saved Alice, and then, astonishingly, tried to rescue Lambert, who was struggling in the water.
Wow. Even after everything, even after Lambert attacked the Lord and tried to kill Alice.
It's a powerful moment. It transcends personal animosity, reveals this core human instinct to protect and help even those we despise.
But it didn't end well.
No. Ultimately, Jerry, the strong Olympic swimmer, she made the ultimate sacrifice. She went in to try and help Lambert, and she succumbed to sharks.
Oh, no, not Jerry.
Yeah.
So after all that unimaginable chaos and sacrifice, who was left on that raft?
Just Benji, completely alone with only Alice. As he wrote, everyone was dead. Everyone was dead but the child and me.
Just the two of them.
The raft, once a symbol of collective survival, became this stark testament to isolation and profound loss.
Okay, so let's go back to Inspector Lafleur. As he's becoming more deeply engrossed in this harrowing notebook, his quiet investigation gets interrupted, right?
Yes, abruptly. He was confronted by Dobby, who turns out to be Benji's estranged cousin. Dobby had somehow tracked the raft's origin to Montserrat.
How did he manage that?
The book doesn't detail that part fully, but he found his way there. And this led to this high-stakes interrogation in a ruined church, of all places, in Montserrat's exclusion zone.
The volcanic exclusion zone.
Yeah, this landscape of ash and desolation. Lafleur, armed, reads parts of the notebook aloud, basically accusing Dobby of being involved in the galaxy's destruction.
But Dobby's revelations completely flipped the narrative, didn't they?
Completely. He vehemently denied being on the yacht, explained he'd gone to Cape Verde only to see Benji and a friend from the band Fashion X, who was also on board.
Okay.
And then he started peeling back the layers of Benji's personal traumas.
Which were significant.
Very. Dobby revealed Benji's impoverished childhood in Ireland, his feelings of abandonment by a wealthy father whom Benji mistakenly believed was Jason Lambert.
Mistakenly believed. So Lambert wasn't his father.
Turns out, no. But Benji believed it. And Dobby also spoke of the devastating loss of Benji's beloved wife, Annabelle, to a rare blood disease they couldn't afford to treat.
Just layers of grief and resentment there.
Exactly. And this is where Dobby introduces a crucial concept: confabulation.
Confabulation. What's that exactly?
It's a psychological phenomena where trauma can cause someone to confuse imagined events with real memories, basically filling in gaps in memory with fabrications, but believing they're real.
So he's suggesting Benji's account, maybe about bringing a limpet mine aboard, or even Dobby's role in it, might be a confabulation, a kind of coping mechanism for his despair.
Precisely. Dobby suggests that Benji's memory of the mine and maybe his own involvement might be this distorted recollection born from intense grief and guilt.
What exactly is a limpet mine for listeners who might not know?
Oh, right. It's a type of explosive device, often magnetic or adhesive, designed to be attached to the hull of a ship below the waterline. Sabotage weapon, essentially.
Okay, so Dobby says Benji's memory of this mine might be flawed. But what was the true intention, according to Dobby?
Well, this is the heartbreaking part. Dobby revealed that Benji himself had brought the limpet mine on board, purchased online, hidden in a drum case, not to harm others.
But for what, then?
For self-destruction. Benji later confessed this to Alice on the raft. He said, "I didn't want to live anymore. Despair has its own voice. It is a prayer unlike any other."
Wow. That's a powerful and heartbreaking admission. Just utter despair.
Yeah.
And it completely reframes the cause of the sinking then, doesn't it, if it wasn't the mine?
It does.
Yeah.
Completely. The actual cause of the sinking, according to later news reports and marine experts cited in the investigation files Lafleur accessed. It seems the Galaxy was struck multiple times by repeated impacts, consistent with a mammal attack, possibly agitated whales.
Whales.
Yeah. The yacht's lightweight fiberglass hull apparently made it susceptible, and it had a red-painted bottom, which some experts believe can attract or agitate whales.
So it wasn't a mine, it was a tragic accident with nature.
It seems so. The yacht was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, maybe with the wrong color hull.
This brings us to the profound climax of the sea journey. Benji, utterly alone now with Alice. What happens in this moment of, ultimate surrender?
It's an incredible moment. Little Alice, who'd been silent throughout the entire ordeal, finally spoke.
She speaks after all that time.
You see. And she says, "I am the Lord, and I will never leave you."
Wait, Alice says, "I am the Lord," not the man they pulled from the water.
Exactly. Benji then understood, or came to believe, that the man pulled from the water was an angel, a messenger, who spoke through her. She was the vessel for the divine presence all along.
Wow.
Okay,
that's quite a revelation.
It really is. It suggests divine intervention can appear in the most unexpected forms, and that the Lord they thought they knew wasn't who they thought, but perhaps something far more profound, using this child as a conduit.
And Alice, speaking as the Lord, revealed this wisdom that wasn't about miracles or punishment, like you said earlier, but about teaching.
That's right. She clarified that Bernadette was good, even in death, emphasizing that the human form is not permanent. She challenged Benji to appreciate the brief gift of human existence, to cherish the world, even in his suffering.
A shift in perspective.
A huge shift. And this wisdom led directly to Benji's confession and liberation. He admitted everything: his original plan to blow up the ship, his hatred for Lambert, his grief over Annabelle, his desperate desire to die. And crucially, he finally realized through this interaction that Lambert was not his father, freeing him from that lifelong resentment.
That must have been a massive weight lifted. And how did this new understanding lead to a tangible act of penance? You mentioned the mine earlier.
Yes. Alice then made him take the limpet mine, which was apparently real, he did bring it, and put it into the water as a symbolic act of penance. And it miraculously disappeared, vanished.
It disappeared.
Just gone. And through this, she helped him shed his immense guilt and find forgiveness. Not just for his actions, but for the dark despair that had consumed him. It was like a cleansing moment, both physical and spiritual.
So Benji finds a new purpose then, a new way to survive, not just physically, but spiritually.
Exactly. He learned to survive on his own out there. He repaired a solar. Still, he had to get fresh water, fashioned a fishing hook from one of Mrs. Ligari's earrings.
Resourceful.
Incredibly. And Alice instructed him, forgive yourself, and once you do, find another soul in despair and help them.
Wow.
He finally realized he was never alone, even when he thought he was completely isolated. His survival became an act of grace, really a journey toward empathy and purpose.
And if we connect this back to Inspector Lafleur, Benji's journey profoundly impacted him as well, didn't it? It wasn't just a story he was reading.
Oh, absolutely. It changed him. Reading those final pages of the notebook, Lafleur had his own emotional breakthrough, a profound one. He finally opened Lily's room, the door he'd kept shut for 4 years, reconciling with his grief.
That's huge.
Huge. He then reconciled with his wife, Patrice, finding peace after years of strained silence. And in this beautiful turn of events, they discovered Patrice was pregnant again.
Oh, wonderful. A new beginning.
A true new beginning. And Lafleur also solved the mystery of Rom, the name Benji used on the island. He realized Rom Roche means God lifted my head in original Hebrew.
So Benji chose that name deliberately.
It seems so. Lafleur realized Benji, in giving him the notebook, wasn't just discarding it. He was testing Lafleur, maybe even consciously guiding him toward his own healing, showing him that profound despair could give way to hope.
So the journey comes full circle then. Months later, Dobby and Benji reunited on Montserrat.
Yes. The ending described is quite moving. Dobby, now with the tattered notebook in hand, walked down to the beach where Benji, now living as Rome, was waiting. They embraced. both having undergone these profound transformative journeys, finally understanding the complex tapestry of survival, faith, and forgiveness that bound them together.
It's a powerful testament, isn't it? How even the most desperate circumstances can lead to unexpected reconciliation and ultimately purpose. This deep dive has really shown us how the sea can strip us bare, leaving us with only ourselves and our beliefs, maybe what we think are our beliefs. But it also reveals how even in the deepest despair and amidst these profound mysteries, there are paths to forgiveness and purpose.
Whether we find them in what seems like divine intervention, or maybe just human connection, or even the simple act of choosing to help another soul in despair, as Alice instructed.
Yeah. So the final thought to leave our listeners with.
What does this story really reveal about the power of belief? Not just belief in a higher power, maybe, but belief in ourselves. And maybe belief in those unseen forces, whatever they might be, that could be guiding us through our own uncharted waters.